I'm Gemma.
I'm Eva.
And this is Readiculous.
Hi, Internet. We are doing our February wrap-up video. If you watched our February TBR, then you might know some of the books that we were reading this month. But surprise, I didn't read most of mine.
To be fair, you did say that we were bad at TBRs, so...
I did say that. I didn't lie about that. I just lied about the books I was going to read. But I fully intended to read them. It's a whole long story that I won't get into. Well, I read a bunch of books. Like, I read more books than I said I was going to read. It's just I didn't read the ones that I said I was going to read. I read different ones.
One of my favorite books that I read this month was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. I have read books by him before that I did enjoy. It was really good. I gave it 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
So here's the thing, like I give a lot of 5 out of 5 ratings, but I'm not like just giving them out like super easily.
Except to all the books you read.
Not all of them.
Except to most of the books you read.
Look, I pick books I know I'm gonna like.
True.
So I'm not disappointed. This is like a sci-fi futuristic sort of, I don't know if I would necessarily classify it as dystopian, but like I feel like other people are a little bit, but I like more sci-fi. So this is like set in the future. They've like basically eliminated all of the problems. Like there's no hunger, they've eliminated disease, whatever. So you're essentially like immortal. So they have these scythes who like,
it's like a person, like a job.
Yeah, it's like a job. It's like I guess you would call it a job because they've conquered everything. Like they've conquered death, but like they still need to like
kill people for
like population control. They don't call it killing; they call it like gleaning.
Okay, well, semantics.
So it's about these two people that got chosen to be like scythe apprentices, and it's like their like journey as these apprentices. Anyways, it's really interesting. Like it gives you a lot of things to like think about. Like what would you do with like sort of unlimited time? Because like the likelihood of being gleaned is like very little, so like it's more likely that you'll just live forever than you'll get gleaned at some point. So then you have to like think about like what are you doing with that time? Like are you just living your life as you would, or are you like doing all kinds of like stuff that you like that we say like if I had more time I would like do this and that? Or would you like literally just live your life again? Like just over and over forever, annoyingly. Looking forward to reading the sequel, Thunderhead.
So I guess the first book I'll talk about, because I don't have it with me, is Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, which I read a synopsis or some sort of information about it before I read it, and I thought it was going to be completely different than it was. I really liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars on Goodreads. It just turned out to be so much different than I thought it was, that the first little bit I was confused. Like it took me some getting used to because it wasn't what I expected, but the way that you're in Eleanor's head, because you're kind of seeing, she's the narrator, so you're getting her thoughts and what would be very strange for people interacting with her in person makes so much more sense when you're in her head. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's like me sometimes. Like people probably have like conversations with me and are like, what? So yeah, I liked that book. It was good. I'd recommend it. It's not a YA book. It's a grown-up book because I'm a grown-up.
This was my favorite book that I read this month, The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Abertali.
How many stars did you give it?
5! 5. I feel like I didn't really know what the book was really about. Like I don't think I read like the little like jacket like synopsis or whatever before I read it. I was just like, oh, unrequited love. I'm into it.
Love it. I hope this book doesn't love me back.
I really felt like I was like, I am and was Molly, like in high school, like for sure. Anyone who knew me in high school was like, I just had so many crushes on like people. Molly's the narrator. She struggles with like self-esteem and she like struggles with her weight, which are like things that in high school and I think still now are things that I like think about. And like just the way that she talks about like sort of why she has all of these unrequited crushes is like I feel like there's a lot in this book that I literally could have written / have like basically said essentially the same thing. There's a lot of lines where I read it and I was like, wow,
that's me.
like that's me, and like that like really connects. I connect, and I'm just gonna read you just one. I hate hating my body. Actually, I don't even hate my body. I just worry everyone else might.
So one of my other favorite books this month was Stalking Jack the Ripper. I wouldn't necessarily say this is historical fiction. I mean, it's set in the time of Jack the Ripper, so like it is in the past, but it's not focused on. It's more of the mystery thriller type genre, I would say. I guess you can be both.
Yeah.
That's more what I was into with this book, and I thought it was really good. And from the very beginning, because I like to do this, I'm like, oh, I know who it is. I know immediately. I just read a chapter. I know how this book is going to end, and I was wrong. That's what I liked, is being wrong. Only in books. In general, in life, I don't like being wrong, and I'm never wrong. This is about Audrey Rose. She's the main character. She's kind of like an apprentice. I always want to say mortician, but that's not what it is. Her uncle is a doctor, I guess a coroner. I don't think they were called that back then. Maybe. I don't know. I read the book. She's apprenticing with him, which is like kind of a no-no because she's a girl. God forbid. So she can't do sciencey things. She's supposed to wear nice dresses and just hang around. So she's kind of apprenticing on the DL. That's when the Jack the Ripper murders start, is when she's doing that. So he is working with the police, like her uncle at first. So that's how she kind of gets involved. It becomes kind of personal for her to track down who Jack the Ripper is because they're just arresting everybody who might be. And it seems to kind of intertwine with things going on in her family. So she's like, I gotta know. And the whole time I was like, I know, I could tell you right now. And I was not right. Good thing that I am not Audrey Rose and do not investigate murders. So I gave this 4 stars. I might actually up it to 4.5. It's definitely not 5 stars for me, and I can't really even say why. I wasn't like, oh my God, best book ever, which is what I kind of saved my 5 stars for. But I would give it 4.5 stars probably from the 4 it's at now.
So the other books that I read this month, I read this book, Hugo by Marie Terrell Soderbergh. If you see the cover, it's like a very beautiful book. When Reason Breaks, which was in my TBR, by Cindy L. Rodriguez. The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. The Hate You Give, which was our read together, which we're gonna do like a separate video on. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Abertali. And then I also listened to 5 audiobooks. Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson, which he narrated also, and his voice was like
so
just love his voice. How We Eat with Our Eyes and Think with Our Stomachs, The Hidden Influences That Shape Your Eating Habits by Melanie Mule, and Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson, which is so funny.
So the other books I read this month, some of them were actually on my TBR.
Congrats.
Thanks. I read The Duff, which was on my TBR. It was very different than the movie. I liked both for different reasons. I read Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. I read Every Day by David Levithan, which was also on my February TBR list. I read All the Bright Places, which I didn't love. I gave it 3 stars, which I think is really generous. There are a lot of reviews on Goodreads and also around BookTube about kind of the problematic things that rubbed me the wrong way, so I won't even get into that. I reread A Wrinkle in Time, which I know for sure I read in elementary school, and I could not remember at all, and the whole time I was rereading it, nothing was sparking anything in my brain, so I'm glad that I reread it. And then in terms of audiobooks, I listened to Talking as Fast as I Can by Lauren Graham. I listened to 168 Hours by Laura Vanderkam. I listened to The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo by Amy Schumer, which was a lot better than I expected it would be because I'm not a huge Amy Schumer fan. And I listened to Yes Please by Amy Poehler, which was great. And I listened to The Short Second Life of Bree Tanner, which I didn't love. I gave it 2 stars because, I mean, it's not a 1-star book. It's just definitely not for me. I read it because I read the original Twilight series so long ago and I didn't read this when those were out, but I just could not get into it, especially as an audiobook. Not my thing. So if you've read any of these books, let us know in the comments and let us know what you thought of them. And of course, as always, be sure to subscribe by clicking down here, ring the bell so you get notifications, and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at ReadiculousYT, which we will link in the description below, along with a bunch of links to our favorite books from this month that we mentioned. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Maybe I want to switch it up. Maybe it's a different format.
Okay, we'll go for it.
Gonna review books and then you have to guess which ones they are.